Now, I want to speak directly to the truckers. All right, you guys are the players, all right, and the playmakers. All right, you guys are the ones that have the intangibles to move our country forward. Well, me personally, I get a lot of positive self-gratification from truckers. All right, what was that? Got another question in the back? Well, trucking is one of the most dangerous jobs, all right, in the country. I think probably like one of the top 5, all right, and we've got a shortage of drivers around here, all right, so that's why it's important, all right, for everybody to be safe, all right. Any other questions? Well, I think 80% of the injuries, you guys are throwing stats at me, so I'm going to throw some stats back at you guys, all right? 80% of the injuries happen, all right, when the truck's not moving. Yeah, exactly. 50% of those injuries, all right, are from slips, trips, and falls relative to, the kind of safety that we'd like to have. All right, and 100% of those falls, all right, are preventable. All right, that's why it's important for the truckers to understand, all right, what to do, how to do it, and why it's important to do it that way so we can have the kind of safety procedures that we'd like to have. Because we don't want anybody being dead, buried, and gone. Gone. All right? So, again, that's why it's important for everybody to focus on the process of what it takes to be safe. And before you get into that truck, you guys got to ask yourself, am I being safe? Am I doing things the right way? Am I communicating with my dispatcher? Dispatchers, are you guys communicating with the truckers? We preach mindset around here, all right, so it's important before you guys do any work, all right, to get your mind right. All right, we had a strength and conditioning coach that used to say that around here. All right, it's about getting your mind right, all right, before you do any kind of work. All right, the truck's not going anywhere. All right, we can't go anywhere or do anything, all right, without you. All right, so get your mind right. Drivers, you guys are teammates. All right, it's important that you guys openly communicate. All right, if you see something, a trick or a technique, all right, that helps you guys out, please feel free to share it. All right, we're all on the same team together. All right, team stands for together. All right, everybody accomplishes more. All right, so it's important that you share tricks and techniques so we can have a better process and be safe. So again, I can't stress enough, all right, how important safety is. All right, so we can have the kind of championship truckers that we'd like to have. All right?
Slips, trips and falls facts. The third leading cause of work-related injuries. 50% of all work-related injuries. 95 million lost work days per year. An average of 19 work days lost. 15% of accidental deaths per year. 55+ age group most at risk. Watch the film. In football, players and coaches will watch film to prepare for the next game, making adjustments and correcting mistakes that were identified. You can do the same for yourself by studying real-life situations. This is the first step in the process of improving our safety culture, making accidents and injuries a big deal. And it starts with changing each individual's behavior. It is, after all, up to everyone to plan, stay alert, and pay attention. Film replay number 1. Joe Driver was unloading his cargo on a dock when he slipped on the dock plate. Joe suffered a broken hip, requiring total hip replacement. Film replay number 2. Jessica Driver was walking the catwalk, tripped, and fell 5 feet, landing on her head. Jessica suffered multiple spinal fractures, severe head trauma with brain damage, and multiple rib fractures. Film replay number 3. Jerry Driver was washing his truck windshield when he fell off the hood. Jerry suffered a compound fracture of his lower leg. Due to infection, the leg eventually had to be amputated. These 3 claims changed lives forever. Just some minor adjustments consisting of planning movements, staying alert, and paying attention to surroundings would have prevented these injuries from occurring.
Well, today we're going to talk about slips. We're going to talk about slips first, then get on to trips, and then falls. All right, but slips are caused by wet surfaces, weather hazards like ice or snow, or, if you're wearing the wrong kind of shoes, all right, and if guys aren't paying attention, all right, to where they're walking, all right, and if they're in a hurry, all right, you can easily slip. So we certainly don't want that to happen, all right? It's important that we take the safety measures, all right, so that doesn't happen. All right? What was that? Well, a slip is, a loss of balance, all right, caused by, too little friction, all right, between your feet, all right, and the surface that you're walking or you're working on. All right, and I think it's important to understand that, the loss of traction, all right, that's the leading cause of workplace slips. It's loss of traction. So we certainly don't want that. All right. Well, metal is slippery, all right, because it has a low force of friction. All right. You want to make sure your running boards, your treads, your steps, your footholds, all right, are clean and dry. Not wearing the right kind of shoes, all right, like these. All right, these boots, all right, they may look fancy. Miss Terry has some boots like these. All right, but these aren't going to cut it, man. Imagine wearing this, all right? See how slick they are? All right, and you're going across an oily, slicky surface. All right, you're going to fall, man. All right? So, not the right kind of shoes to wear. All right? Again, Miss Terry may wear some like this. All right, but you wear these on the job. You see how smooth they are? You go over an oil surface, all right, and you're going to wonder why I slipped, all right? Because I didn't wear the right kind of shoe. All right? Shoes are a very important part, all right, of the PPE. All right, that's personal protection equipment. So it's important, all right, that everybody wear good shoes. All right, no sandals, no, flip-flops, no cowboy boots. All right, like I just showed you, no tennis shoes and no Crocs on the docks, man. All right, you guys get it? All right, good. You guys see how worn out this is? Look at this, man. All right, it's disgraceful. The whole damn thing's falling apart. All right, so it's important, all right, for guys to wear, the properly fitted boots. All right, for the job, wear lace-up boots. All right, you guys know how to tie your shoes, right? All right, we'll tie them properly. All right, and replace worn and damaged footwear. All right, at least annually. All right. Here's an example of a good shoe. All right, see the traction there? All right, when you're going across an oily surface, all right, you're less likely to fall. All right, so that's what you want to be concerned about, is a shoe with the right kind of traction. And, this shoe certainly has the right kind of traction, all right, relative to any other kind of shoe, all right, that's slick. All right. Well, one of the ways that we can avoid, all right, some of these slips is to follow these safety procedures. All right, when you want to practice safe walking skills. All right, so what you want to do is take short steps, all right, on slippery surfaces. You want to keep your center of balance, all right, keep your center of balance under you. I know a lot of you guys are probably former athletes and understand, the concepts of what I'm talking about. Well, some areas where, you need to be especially careful, all right, for slips, all right, is, the back of a cab and the trailer, all right, where you're going to find a lot of grease and oil, all right, a fuel island, all right, you try walking around diesel on concrete or asphalt, and you're going to fall on asphalt, and it's going to be your ass and your fault, all right, that's what that stands for, all right, and in Alabama, of course, we all know, it gets to rain pretty heavily, very quickly too. So it goes back to situational awareness. You got to be situationally aware of what's going on around you. So let's take all these things under consideration so we don't have any kinds of slips. All right. Again, be careful. All right. The name of the game is safety. All right.
How to prevent slips. Use correct 3 points of contact to avoid slipping when climbing up or down from height. Wear sturdy, non-slip footwear and make sure the soles are clean. Slow down, especially in hazardous conditions. Look for oil, coolant, or other fluid spills when walking on shipyards, fuel islands, rest stops, warehouse floors, etc. Use adhesive striping material or anti-skid paint wherever possible. Practice safe walking skills, such as smaller steps and focusing on the walk area. Don't use your phone while walking. Check steps, running boards, and handholds or bars for slip hazards. Install grip tape or textured flooring to ensure better traction. Report site hazards to management to alert them of potential slip-fall exposures. Film replay number 1. Wendy Warehouse was walking with a co-worker past fallen boxes with spilled liquid when the co-worker slipped and started to fall, grabbing Wendy on the way down. Wendy was pulled to the ground and injured her back and shoulder, requiring multiple surgeries. Film replay number 2. Jimmy Driver was climbing out of his truck when his foot slipped, causing him to fall and hit the fuel pump, a garbage can, and eventually the ground. Jimmy injured his back and shoulder, requiring 2 lower back fusion surgeries. Film replay number 3. After fueling her truck, Jane Driver slipped in diesel fuel and fell, landing on her head. Jane suffered permanent brain damage. These 3 claims totaled just over $1 million and changed lives forever. Just some minor adjustments consisting of planning movements, staying alert, and paying attention to surroundings would have prevented these injuries from occurring.
Well, trips happen when your foot hits an object, when you're going and you have enough momentum, all right, that you're thrown off balance. And, they happen when, guys are in a hurry. As I say, haste makes waste, man. All right, and you're not paying attention to where you're going. All right, so you guys get that? I don't think it's important that guys understand the importance of situational awareness. All right, that's being, sort of aware of the circumstances relative to where you are and what's going on around you. All right. You guys need to look where you're walking. How hard is that? How hard is it to look while you're walking? No, don't stutter. Tell me how hard it is. Huh? It's not hard for me. Is it hard for you? So, again, it's very important. All right, the guys use caution when they're walking, while they're walking, and not get distracted and focus, again, on the walking while they're walking. Use your eyes, to sweep your path, looking for, uneven surfaces and, puddles of water or trip hazards such as curbs, or parking blocks. Well, I also think it's important, to, maintain, terminal yard and dock areas, so that surfaces are even, and they're free of, slip and trip hazards like, potholes, ice, snow, rubbish, liquid spills, and provide and maintain adequate lighting. And also important that we dispose of debris. All right, and when I'm talking about housekeeping, I'm not just talking about truckers. All right, I'm talking about mechanics, shop employees, anybody in the office, working in the terminal or facility. It's important for everybody to buy into the process, to ask themselves, what can I do to have a championship housekeeping? All right. I want you guys to understand, most importantly, I need you guys, to report any kind of unsafe hazards. All right.
How to prevent trips. Use 3 points of contact to avoid tripping or missing a step when climbing up or down from height. Walk, and work, in well-lit areas, especially at night. Keep walkways free of obstacles and interferences. Avoid walking or working on uneven, rough ground surfaces. If unavoidable, don't hurry and plan your route. Conduct periodic inspections for slip and trip hazards. Make sure you can see where you are walking, sweep the area with your eyes and don't carry loads that hinder your line of sight. Wear appropriate footwear with good grip and clean soles. Mark areas with elevation changes, such as sidewalks or curbs, for awareness. Film replay number 1. Joseph Driver was working with tarps on top of his flatbed and not using available fall protection. He tripped over the tarps, falling to the ground. Joseph suffered head trauma with a concussion, 80 stitches, 2 broken wrists that required surgery, and injured his left knee, which also required surgery. Film replay number 2. Jenny Driver was standing on the catwalk when she tripped, became tangled in the air hose and fell to the ground on her back. Jenny had multiple injections and eventually lower back surgery. Film replay number 3. John Driver was walking across the dark parking lot of a truck stop when he tripped into a hole and rolled his foot. John injured his neck and ankle, causing permanent damage.
Well, falls occur when you move too far off your center. And falls account also for more workplace fatalities than any other reason. As you fall, man, you're going to be dead, buried, and gone. Gone. Remember, don't climb unless you have to, all right? So, look, guys, you got to face getting in, all right, and you got to face your equipment getting out, all right? Don't use tires or wheel hubs, all right, as a stepping surface. All right, remember, you always want to use fall protection when it's available. All right, and some examples of fall protection, all right, include overhead harness systems, netting, drive-through platforms, portable handrail systems, and overhead tarping system or forklift tarping systems. It's important for our truck drivers to understand the importance, all right, of maintaining a three-point contact. All right, that's one hand, 2 feet, all right, or 2 hands and 1 foot. All right, you can't do that, all right, if you're holding on to something. All right. You want to maintain three-point contact until you reach the ground. All right, don't skip the last step and don't jump. I think it's important for guys to really kind of take it slow. And buy into that process of what it takes. How can I be safe? All right? And the ATA Comp Fund certainly wants you guys to be safe. So again, it goes back to mindfulness. All right? Take a deep breath. Ain't going anywhere. You guys, you got an important focus on the safety, man. If we're not focused on the safety, then what are we doing out here? All right?
How to prevent falls. Use correct 3 points of contact to avoid falls when climbing up or down from height. Utilize fixed objects, such as grab bars, for assistance in climbing. Use fall protection equipment when working at height. Ladders should be fitted with slip-resistant bases and secured to prevent movement. Use a ladder to access the top of a load. Use fall protection, including harnesses, when guardrails are not available. Always stay to the center on empty flatbed trailers. Watch for hazards on the catwalk. Gravity always wins. Film replay number 1. Jody Driver was walking around her trailer at a weigh station, stepped on a broken inspection plate, and fell through it. Jody injured her neck, shoulder, elbow, and hip and required total shoulder replacement. Film replay number 2. Eric employee was climbing an extension ladder and did not have the ladder properly secured. Extension slid, causing Eric to fall 8 feet. He fractured both ankles and required shoulder surgery. Film replay number 3. Erin employee was positioning a crate on a forklift, climbing on a table to finish positioning. She fell off the table, hitting her chest on her way to the ground. Erin sustained rib fractures and a punctured lung, which ultimately collapsed. She was hospitalized for several days and out of work for 7 months.
I want you guys to think of getting in and out of the cab, all right, the same way you climb a ladder. All right, when you go down a ladder, do you go down face first? No, I'm asking the question. When you climb a ladder and you go down it, do you go down it face first? Huh? All right, well, it's the same way with, getting in and out of the cab. Face first, all right? So we don't have any kind of injuries. That's why we have this safety blitz, man. All right, so we're trying to prevent you guys from getting injured. It's enough that we already have a shortage of you guys. So, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys, get out of the cab, not paying attention to what they're doing, just jumping in and jumping out. It's important for everybody, all of our truckers, to face the equipment. You face it getting in, you face it getting out. No exceptions to the rule, man. All right? And after a long run, you guys are going to have plenty of long runs. I don't feel that you got to get out immediately. Just take a deep breath, man. Be cautious. The name of the game is safety. Again, haste makes waste. So don't feel that you have to get right out of the cab. It's important for our truck drivers to understand the importance of maintaining a 3-point contact. That's one hand, 2 feet, or 2 hands and 1 foot. You can't do that, if you're holding on to something. Don't carry items in your free hand. Place them on the vehicle floor, or the door pouch. It's important for guys to understand, that not all trucks are designed the same. So I think it's important for guys to know their equipment, know what they're working with. Because if you don't know what you're working with, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble and, injured, which we certainly don't want. There's a reason trucks have designed grass bars or handholds. Use them. And never use a door frame, or a door edge as a handhold, or death is going to have its hold on you. No exceptions to that rule. Follow the procedures, man. I think it's important for guys to really kind of take it slow, and buy into that process of what it takes. How can I be safe? And the ATA Comp Fund certainly wants you guys to be safe. So again, it goes back to mindfulness before you get in and out of the cab. Take a deep breath. Ain't going anywhere.
Entering. Exiting the cab. Almost 80% of trucker fall injuries occur close to the cab, with more than half occurring when exiting. Most of these injuries are preventable and caused by driver error. By not following the 3-point contact rule. Maintain 3 points of contact while getting onto or off of the equipment until you reach the ground, cab, or stable platform. 1 hand, 2 feet or 2 hands, 1 foot on the equipment at all times. Always face the equipment when mounting and dismounting. Do not climb down or up with something in your free hand. Wear slip-resistant shoes with good support. Slow down and use extra caution in bad weather. Look for obstacles on the ground before exiting. Get a firm grip on rails and handles with your hands. Do not use unauthorized handholds such as door frames or door edges. Do not use tires or wheel hubs as a step surface. Use adhesive striping material or anti-skid paint wherever possible. Have an MVP season. Most slip, trip, or fall injuries are preventable with the right preparation and focus on situational and surrounding awareness. Part of developing a culture of safety is constantly keeping safety awareness at the forefront in everything you do. Consistent training and making safety a big deal will keep you in the win column year after year.